Hello everybody and welcome to Organian's Puzzle Box. In today's video, I want to introduce to you the Atmos Forge. It's a brand new blueprint added to the CloudForge project, but also as a standalone project so you can get it separately if you'd like. This is a volumetric cloud solution that satisfies all of your need for your environmental lighting, clouds, atmosphere, fog, and so on. This system is going to be in continuous development, so I am going to release more updates. But for now, this is update 1.0, and it comes with a big number of features, which we're going to go through right now. So let's begin. I think the best way for us to go over what is new in the Atmos Forge is to basically have a look at what its features are. So the Atmos Forge is a blueprint-driven system. It has 4 layers of clouds, which we can find a cirrus, a cumulonimbus, a cirronimbus, and a stratus, each of these working on a different layer within the cloud system. We also have a dynamic day, night, and cycle, cloud shadows, volumetric lighting, and also real-time control, which allows us to actually change our settings during gameplay or during while we create a cinematic, for example. We also have a skybox in place, which is able to display stars at night, also an overcast sky, and even the Milky Way. All of this comes integrated within the blueprint. Also, this is very compatible with CloudForge. It was actually designed to work with CloudForge, and you can see in some of these screenshots over here, you can see it in action with the CloudForge. So right here we have clouds from the CloudForge underneath on the mountains, and then we have the Atmos Forge in the air. Both of these obviously come bundled together, but also separate if you'd like. Now, let's just go on and have a look at all these features and how we can use them and how to set up a scene so that you can get the most out of this new blueprint. So we're now in the example map for the Atmos Forge, and we can see it right now in action. So whenever you open the project, you will be greeted with something like this, where you have these clouds pretty much rolling through the sky and forming as they go and casting all these nice deep shadows onto the ground. And you can see we only have a landscape in the scene, which is, empty. And then we have the Atmos Forge itself. We don't have the Cloud Forge, we don't have anything else, just the Atmos Forge. The Atmos Forge does contain a directional light. It contains a sky atmosphere, post-process, height fog, volumetric clouds, skylight, and also a dome, which, as I've said to you, is where the skybox is. If we move around through the scene, you'll be able to see that you can actually go through and actually enter through these clouds and pretty much fly around wherever you want. And if you want to control where the light is, right now, because if we can go around here, we'll be able to see that that's where our sunlight is. And we also have we've got an overcast layer on top of clouds as well. So if I open over the basic Atmos control, you'll see I have a light pitch function. And if I start changing this around, you'll notice how this obviously makes the light go up and down and changes our cloud shadows and also pushes our directional light into directions. We can take it all the way to the bottom like that, and then you'll see now that we have a sort of like a lit sky with stars and so on. But we can also take it all the way to the other side, which will give us again nighttime. And if we look up in the sky, you'll be able to notice that we actually do have a Milky Way. So let me just go over here into the open like that, and now pretty much turn it off, maybe to that point. Now you can see the Milky Way, and again more stars and so on. Now let's just take our light back to around this point. Obviously these clouds are meant to be seen from the ground, not really from up in the sky as much, but if you'd like, you can always sort of push them up. So the way for us to do that is you would want to go over into the world's volumetric clouds in here, where you'll have settings such as setting up the mask, setting up the main textures used to generate the clouds. So for example, if we change this mask to something a bit more granular, then you will be able to see a different kind of layer of clouds. We can actually change it over to maybe something like this, which will change the clouds as well. And we have many different options in here. Like for example, this one will give you more scarce clouds. But if we go back to the default one, which is this value, we can also start working with these volume textures. So we can change them, and that changes the look and feel of the clouds. As you can see, we can have these more stylized ones, or we could go for something like that, which is quite interesting. So there's a lot of different options in here that it comes packed into the actual system. Let's just switch back to the default version for now. Now we can also activate options such as per sample light transmittance to make the light react differently within the clouds, and we're also able to like increase them in height. So this just increases the upper layer, so you can just keep going up with the clouds themselves. But you can also like decrease the increase their altitude, so how high in the sky they are rather than how low. And then if you bring down the height of it, then you get more more flattened out clouds, and we can bring in the bottom altitude as well further down, and that just gives us a really interesting shapes as well. You can see just how close these clouds can get to the ground in this scene, and how powerful that is. We also have two settings here for quality. So if you bump both of these to maximum, you will get some really nice clouds. This might actually slow down my render if I do this, but yeah, now you can see that it's running a lot slower. So this is for cinematic use, but the clouds are going to be a lot better, a lot more crisp if you do that. Another thing that we can do also up here, we can deactivate things like light shafts if we don't like them. And we can also deactivate directional light in case you want to add your own directional light. You're also able to control fog density. Now by default, this is down to 0.05, and you're not really able to see the cloud shadows so well on 0.05. So I would definitely recommend trying to put it to a 0.001. That will make it nicer for you to be able to see the cloud shadows. We're also able to, change the volumetric atmosphere, but we also have a few options in here, such as switching the volumetric clouds to high quality. So if we disable this, it will give us a lot more performance with the clouds, but obviously at the cost of performance. If you enable it, this will just push the clouds to be a lot better looking than the usual clouds found within the engine. There's also an option to not use the volumetric clouds entirely and just be left with the skybox, or you can use the you can also disable the volumetric atmosphere, and you can also enable real-time controls, which allows you to change these clouds at playtime. So actually, let's just test that out right now. Well, let's say you're in play mode and you want to change the clouds. Then what you can do is, let's say we hit play mode right now, and you can see we're in play mode. And if I bring in my mouse and select the Atmos Forge, I'm going to just click on the real-time clouds here. And as you can see, I can actually play with the light pitch right now. If I didn't have enabled this option, the real-time clouds, then this wouldn't really do anything, as you can see. But if I enable it, then I'm able to use this, and this is going to allow you to do things in sequencer as well, which is quite nice. And let me just go back like that. So yeah, anything can actually be changed from here, including things like color and whatever else you'd like, you can do from within. Like even this, you can even change what sort of color, what sort of cloud shapes you're using. So this is some really powerful stuff, because it allows you to really push the boundaries of how many things can be changed at runtime. There's also some other things in here that we can control. So let's just have a look at, for example, the cloud controls. We can push the wind to go faster. So actually, let me just come out of play mode so we can have a look. Something like that. Okay, so now you can see that the wind is moving across a lot faster than it did before. We can also play around with the cloud phase shift, which is going to just simply take all of these tileable scales and just play around with them and change them randomly, so we can get some really cool cloud shapes like that. You can obviously play around with the tileable settings of the clouds, so you can get even more details or less details depending on what you want to do. This is how powerful this is, so I'm just really happy of how it all kind of turned out, to be honest. We can also play around with the density, so if we want denser clouds, then we can get denser clouds, as you see here, or we can get them very light to the point where they're barely visible. Some other options that we've got is we can play around with the Cirrus. So for example, let me just get these clouds to go higher up in the sky. So I'm just going to push them something like that, and we'll have a look through this opening right here. If I go over to the Cirrus and, for example, increase its opacity, I should be able to see more of that, but unfortunately I'm a bit in a, actually I know what I need to do. First of all, I will tone this wind down because it's not really helping me. to show you guys what I want to show you. Right, so enable the Cyrus like that, and you can see in here the Cyrus is just a very top cloud layer like that over there, all the way in at the top. And we can have a look at, you know, increasing its contrast or decreasing it, or we can have it disabled completely. We can also play around with the cumulonimbus, so we can add some more clouds over here, like that. So this adds more layers of clouds, but these clouds are pretty much touching the ground at this point, so I might actually want to further, you know, lift them up, something like that, because they were really touching the ground. And to be honest, it's because this landscape is actually quite deformed. I've you know, played around with the scale of it quite a little bit, so in theory you'd want this to be maybe like a scale of 1, and just the overall of it is just a bit oval, so it's not exactly straight. But you can see some of the cloud shapes that we have in here, and the fact that you can actually fly through these shapes is really cool. So imagine like in a game where you're flying a ship or an airplane or something like that, that would be really cool. Some features that I do want to add to this is obviously things like rain and thunder and snow. So that's coming in an upcoming update, which I'm already working on. We do have the Siren Nimbus as well that we can play with, so we could decrease that. And the Stratus is going to darken the clouds, and it's going to build up more and more clouds as we increase the number, and it will also dim the light quite considerably. So the more you add this in, the more it will dim the light to the point where there's almost no light in the world because it's just the clouds are too thick. So as you can see here, this is sort of like an adjustment right there. That's a breaking point where the Stratus just takes over the light source. So if we decrease this to 0, the clouds become very, you know, a lot less dense and a lot less, you know, they capture a lot less light and allows it for a lot more to pass through. If you want to get rid of the clouds, you know, not entirely, but, you know, like a lot, you can always sort of play around with these, over here where it says a Siren Nimbus cloud, you know, max, take that to maybe like a 0, and then you can go to the Cumulonimbus one and have a look at size and just turn that again quite low to the point where most of it just starts disappearing, and now you have only these structures around here. But you can always turn the density to 0 on these so they are completely gone. So now, as you can see, we barely have any clouds. You want to, you don't really want to, you want to make sure that you do keep the shapes in place, but again, when it comes to the density, you may just want to decrease that to the point where they almost disappear. But you can always turn this to 0 and instead play with some cirrus clouds, and you can see them now a lot better. Now that we got rid of the other clouds, these are going to be a lot better. But there's also the Skybox that you can play around with. So over here we got an overcast 8K01. We can also switch this to an 8K02. Let's just deactivate the Cirrus to be able to see it. And this has a flow map, so this does actually move around. And if we do actually have a look, we can set up, we've got the Milky Way, we've got the cloud, we've got some stars set up. We can also search for some more stars, so we can have a look at distant small stars. And then if we play around with the light pitch, we can actually turn it to the point where we do have the Milky Way and we do have these stars around. And we can also go the other way, so this gives you a different look where the overcast sky is also kept into the scene, and we've got the stars as well. Now, one thing that we can do is we can start bringing some clouds back. So for example, taking the Cirrus will already add some clouds back, and then changing this density back to what it was, and maybe some of these settings, this will bring some clouds back into the world so we can see that. So yeah, those are all the options of the Atmos Forge that I wanted to really share with you. But I hope you found that quite you know, useful, and I hope you enjoyed the project. Let me know if you have any thoughts, any questions, and I will gladly answer all of them. But now, you know, take a dig in, have a look, play around. I am going to also make a demo for this, so you'll be able to see it live without having to actually purchase the project. And I will be building some scenes with it, and I will release some tutorials on how to do that just for the people that are interested to see. This project is available on Patreon, just like my any other project that I've released so far. So if you'd like to take get access to it, just head on over to Patreon and subscribe there, and you will have access to all of my projects, not just this one, for the price of a coffee, basically. Anyway, hope to see you guys next video. Thank you for watching and enjoy.